So, why do we have a cross here? Well, let me tell you. This little thing, sweet and innocent as it might seem, was actually part of the subject of a very long, drawn-out, protracted legal battle between myself and the SNU. Well, actually between the SNU and myself. So I have it here as a proud icon of a battle once fought and, alas, lost. But not really lost, because as far as the spirit world are concerned, we won. Just that we got no building. But anyway, let's move on. The spirit, which is that part of you, that divine spark that comes from somewhere else, right, from the source, right, incarnates to here, right? But if we look at the physical body, right, together with things like blades of grass and cats and dogs and everything that has life, the fishes and all those kinds of things, they each have what we call a soul energy. Right? It's not a spirit, it's a soul energy, it's an etheric energy. It's called the animating principle, or the principal breath, and it's what gives it life. That's what makes the blade of grass grow, it's what makes the dog bark, and it's what makes the fishes swim and the birds fly, right? They all have that part of them which is etheric. They each have a soul energy. Whereas what's different with the human being, you and I, is that we have contained within us an immortal spirit that comes from a higher place. And we incarnate here into the soul which animates the physical body. Whenever you read in the old texts about blowing and breathing and breath, that's called the principal breath of the soul. So when you look at the ancient texts and you reread these things and you come across these things, particularly around blowing and wind and breath, we're talking about the principal breath, the animating principle. Okay. The spirit of the human being can be considered pure, yet interlinked to a vehicle called the soul, which is made of an inferior substance called shadow. The shadow can deliver the spirit down to the abyss or up to the realm of the higher, dependent on the desires present within its complex and subtle matrix. The spirit is the ultimate control, yet the soul and its negative energies and traits can ultimately determine its destiny, meaning it can be very difficult for the human spirit to override the harmful desires of the soul and the needs of the physical body to which it is attached by a silver umbilical cord. When a child is conceived, it will either be born here or in the spirit world. So if the child doesn't reach its full term, it'll be born into the spirit. Children cannot be conceived in the spirit world. They are conceived on the earth. The soul energy of the mother embraces the soul energy of the child. The two grow separate and yet together. They are, as it were, interlinked and interlaced. But when a child is born and takes that first liberal and free action of its lungs by breathing and then crying, a veil of amnesia is then drawn across the incarnating spirit so that it may become born again, as it were, fresh to the world and not confused by memories and experiences that belong to a pre-life existence. Should a child not survive in the womb, then it will be born into the spirit world and will grow up exactly the same way an earthly child would, at the same rate. So for instance, where twins are concerned, if one twin dies and the other survives, then they still both grow up, one in the spirit and one on the earth. So when the earthly child is, say, 10 years of age, the spirit child will be 10 years of age as well, and at the same stage of development. Except when they get to about 30, as with the earthly child, the spirit body stops aging, and where the earthly child is concerned, the physical body carries on aging. I hope that makes sense to you. It's really quite simple. If you liked that video, click like, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section, because friends, it's more important now than ever that our voice is heard, especially with growing censorship. Thank you for watching. Until next time.